Hello students, today we are here at Dr. B.R. Ambedkar Open University at Hyderabad. I am Dr. Sonal Mobar Roy, working at National Institute of Rural Development and Panchayati Raj. We are here to take a look at the course Social Issues, Policies and Development, Block 2, Understanding Social Policy. We will be looking at Unit 4, Social Policy, Concept and Significance. This is part of the course in Sociology, UG second year, semester 3. It is pertinent to understand what exactly is social policy, who designs social policy and for whom. Let us begin this unit with a very fundamental question. Why do we need social policy at all? If society were naturally equal, if everyone had the same access to resources and opportunities, they had the same rights, perhaps we would not need any intervention. But the reality is very different. Societies generate inequalities, economic, social and cultural. It is a diverse nation and these inequalities require deliberate responses. This comes in the form of designed and programmed social policies. It is in this context that the idea of social policy emerges. In today's lecture, we will be looking at what is social policy, its objectives, its type and understand the nitty-gritties as a student of sociology. Let us start by looking at the definition of social policy. This covers government actions, legislation and guidelines designed to improve citizen welfare, address social needs and manage resources related to health, education, housing and employment. It addresses issues like poverty, social inequality and social security with the core aim of enhancing quality of life and social stability. As I said, this is a diverse nation. We have a huge population to cater to. Whatever interventions, the programs designed by the government, they have to reach the grassroots level. We have to understand that there is no bias when delivery is we have to understand that there should be no bias when delivery is in question. So, we have to make sure there is social justice and equity in focus. The key aspects of social policy covers welfare state. We have to understand that often this centers on government services such as social services, healthcare and welfare programs. The key idea is to understand that social policies are designed for welfare programs. There is an act or a strategy to address social problems that require collective action rather than individual solutions. We have to cater to the problem with the perspective that it is for the nation as a whole. It is not biased towards a certain section of the society. The key areas that we are here focusing on are education, health, poverty or social safety nets, housing, family and child services. So, these are certain key areas that require attention by the government for the development of the people. We have various programs in implementation such as the Manrega, Mahatma Gandhi Narega program for employment and livelihoods. You have the Jal Jeevan Mission for water. You have the Poshan Abhiyan for health. All these are examples of social policies and programs that are designed for the welfare of the people. What do we understand by social policy, or what do we mean when we talk about social policy? We are referring to a set of deliberate actions, principles and programs designed by the state to address social problems and improve the well-being of the people. When we say well-being of the people, we mean raising their quality of life, making sure they have equal rights and access to the fruits of the development. It is also important to understand that social policy is not just technical in nature, it is actually moral. It reflects how a society defines what is fairness, what is meant by justice and responsibility towards its members. At this point, we need to move beyond a narrow understanding. We have to widen the framework. Social policy is not just about welfare schemes or government programs. It is a broader framework through which the state intervenes in areas like education, health, employment, social security, etc. In other words, it shapes the conditions under which people live their lives. And here when we talk about people, we are actually talking about the masses. We are talking about the people who are on the threshold, the marginalized, the vulnerable, the tribal populations, the people who do not have equal rights and access to the fruits of development. Also, at this juncture, we should understand there is a concept of public policy. It is useful to see policy not as a single decision, but as a process. It usually begins with identifying a problem. You have to make sure that you have identified a problem, say poverty or unemployment or something related to health or education, and then you have to come out with a formulation of idea to cater to it, to the solution, where solutions are designed. This is followed by implementation, where programs are executed. Finally, there is evaluation, assessing whether the policy has worked, has it delivered, or has it catered to the need of the population or not. At each stage, different actors are involved: politicians, bureaucrats, experts, academicians, and their perspectives shape the outcome. It is essential as a student of sociology to understand these nitty-gritties. In this lecture, you were introduced to the idea of social policy. What exactly is meant by social policy? Do we really need to design a social policy to cater to the needs of the people, for the welfare of the people, especially the marginalized? We also looked at what is the process of public policy. Do we need a public policy? How do you differentiate between a social policy and public policy? We'll also be talking about this in detail in the upcoming lectures, but herein the introduction as a student of sociology is necessary to understand what exactly are we talking about in this discourse. So right now we talked about social policy. At the same time, it is essential to understand a related concept which is called public policy. As the word understands by itself, we are talking about something that caters to the population of the country. We are talking about the masses, the vulnerable people. As you know, in India, we have a diverse country. It's a diverse country. We have populations, we have diverse cultures, traditions, livelihoods, etc. So whatever policy that is designed has to be ensured that it reaches to the grassroots levels without any bias. At this point, it is useful to see policy not as a single decision, but as a process. You have to understand that people sitting in the government, they are designing certain roadmaps of development for the betterment of the society as a whole. It's not just a one-point thing, it is a long drawn process. It begins with identifying a problem. This problem could actually be related to employment, it could be related to literacy, health, banking, etc. So people have to be, so it is essential that whatever idea that we are taking into consideration, the problem that we are deciding upon, we look into the detail, then we come out with a solution. We draw a roadmap of its implementation. It has to be well executed. It has to reach to the grassroots without any bias. Finally, there is evaluation. There is monitoring and evaluation by the government to ensure that whatever policies they have implemented have actually affected the concerned. At each stage, different actors are involved: politicians, bureaucrats, experts, academicians, researchers, and the perspectives shape the outcome. It is essential to understand that as a student of sociology, you are familiar with the idea of social policy and are able to differentiate what exactly is public policy. We will be going through this in detail, but as of now, you should have understood what exactly is a social policy. So, as a student of sociology, you should have understood by now what exactly is social policy and how is it different from public policy. Thank you.